What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Ah yes, Six Flags Magic Mountain, my home park and the place that basically raised me. Well, sort of. I guess I owe like 8 years at Disneyland some respect. Anyways, Magic Mountain is where I sparked a love of coasters overall thanks to Viper, and with that came a kid completely nerded out and obsessed anything to do with Six Flags. Aside from rebuilding the entire Six Flags Magic Mountain Park on RCT3, I also knew like every bit of lore ever surrounding this park. One of these things I loved so dearly were its defunct coasters, and when I did research on these things, I was just obsessed. For whatever reason, I was just completely fascinated that these giant metal machines could like just be there and then not be. And today's star, the world's first and only Space Diver coaster, was in fact one of these that was relocated 3 times and eventually closed forever. Intended to be the next big thing in coasters, it ultimately failed and became irrelevant. But why? Let's get into it. But first, of course, I know you guys are all waiting. What is it, and where did it come from? This is the story of Six Flags Magic Mountain's Flashback. Flashback first opened in 1985 at Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. Known as Z-Force, it was a prototype coaster dubbed a Space Diver that was purchased directly from its manufacturer, Intamin Amusement Rides, in 1984. Intamin, who'd had the thing in Europe, operated the ride for a year on and off at their facilities, with the goal in mind to mass-produce the model. The model itself was to be marketed as the world's only hairpin drop roller coaster, with 6 head-over-heels dives and a 540-degree upward spiral. Now, getting it into Six Flags Great America would be the first real feedback they'd actually get on the attraction, and with its unique nature, there was definitely concern on how it would perform. Aside from that, at the time, the Six Flags company was also amidst its weird ride rotation program, where roller coasters were essentially being built to move between different Six Flags parks. Z-Force was one of these, and by 1987, management decided to act on this, and they actually moved the ride. So, during its 2-year lifespan at Six Flags Great America, the ride saw relatively short lines and rather dull reviews, which wasn't looking good as far as concerns on a good performance level. Nonetheless, following the ride's closure at Six Flags Great America, it was then immediately relocated to Six Flags Over Georgia in 1988, which is just west of Atlanta. There, it would operate under the same name and receive much better reviews, at least in the beginning. And I say that because while Season 1 was definitely a success, Season 2 unfortunately saw an 11-year-old boy go unconscious on the attraction, being pronounced dead at a later date. An investigation was held, and it was inconclusive as to whether the attraction was to blame or outside causes. Still, this caused a stir in the area for good reason, and once again, lines became relatively short for Z-Force, it saw less and less attention, and by 1991, after just 3.5 seasons of operation, management once again packed it up and prepared it for its next park. And you might guess where that was? Yep, Six Flags Magic Mountain. As part of the relocation, the ride was renamed from Z-Force to Flashback, and the trains were repainted in an effort to remove any remaining stigma on the ride. It opened at that park in 1992 and started its career once again. Unfortunately though, Flashback immediately gained its original reputation back as being a relatively painful ride experience, with most of the guests complaining of hitting their heads. On top of this, in June of 1995, Six Flags Magic Mountain also decided to open their water park, Hurricane Harbor, which was right next to Flashback, which of course caused more problems. Flashback was a noisy ride, and that caused the lifeguards to get distracted, as well as guests in the park. Because of this, Flashback became seasonal and would remain closed from May to September, beginning in 1996. Unironically, this didn't last long though, as guests hated the ride anyways, which discouraged Six Flags from operating it at all. As a result, the ride closed in 2003 for renovations. However, with new technology on the market, the ride was pretty low on to-do lists, and by 2007, it was just randomly scrapped. Yeah, like literally, they didn't really say much besides a small notice in January. This thing was pretty much just taken out, including Cyclone, which was another coaster at the time. I will say, originally the park stated that Flashback may have been rebuilt within the park for 2008, but obviously that never came to be the case. Today, its plot of land is now occupied by the water park due to expansion, but funny enough, its station still stands and is used for Fright Fest. I forget the name of the maze, but I actually walked through it last time I was there, so keep an eye out for it next time any of you visit. Here's a picture. With that said though, that weirdly just concludes the history on Flashback. I know that's pretty abrupt, but I'm making it abrupt because that's how it was. Six Flags basically just closed the ride, didn't operate it, and it left. So pretty sad how much of a failure that was, because I know Intamin was definitely banking on it being a relatively highly produced model, but still, can't knock them for trying something new. Regardless, I think its history is definitely worth acknowledging, as so many others are, so if you have any ideas, feel free to share those down below. Besides that though, stay tuned for yet another video coming in a couple days as well. Please like, subscribe, all that jazz, and well, we'll see you all there. Thanks for all being here, guys, we really appreciate it. See ya.